Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Minecraft. Let's get started. Now, you may be wondering, why am I making a new world? Well, unfortunately, we had a little situation, and I'm gonna explain it. Alright, how do I change the difficulty? Right click? Oh, left click. Alright, so we got peaceful, easy. You know what, let's just go easy. Let's not do beginner mode. Now hopefully if I put the same name, the same seed will load. Because I like to be right by the water. Makes it easy to grow sugarcane. It looks like it looks like I did not spawn by the water. It's not the biggest deal breaker. Alright, let me get up high. So I want you to take a good look around. You notice how I don't have a house, I don't have a mine, my hands are empty. So you notice how everything's kinda gone? Alright, we're gonna pause it. Alright, now I'm gonna do kind of a bit of a cold open here. If you don't want to hear this whole thing, in the comments I'm going to put a timestamp. So if you don't want to listen to this rant, go in the comments, hit the timestamp button, and it'll take you right to the gameplay. So, a few days ago, me and my brother, we were hanging out in my room, and we were playing on my computer. Now, my brother, he had always played console. He'd never really played on a PC before. So obviously on a PC, you have your desktop, and then you have all your icons on your desktop, and you gotta double click to get the program to open. But he was having a little trouble with that, so when he was playing on the computer, he was having trouble opening a game. And I don't know how this happened, but somehow, when he was trying to click on it, he dragged the icon over to the edge of the screen, and the entire aspect ratio changed. The apps got smaller, and it seemed like the black bars on the side of the screen got bigger. Now at first, I didn't think very much of it, and then sometime later, I was playing myself, and something just kind of seemed off. You know how when you drive a car, when you've owned a car for years, you know every sound, you know how it handles, you know how it works? That's like me, but with this computer. So I was playing some video games, and something just seemed off. Obviously, like I said, the aspect ratio was different, but something just felt off. Now at first, At first, I couldn't put my finger on it, but then I figured out my cursor was actually smaller, and it was a lot more sensitive. So you would barely move the mouse, and the cursor would just fly across the screen. And some of the older games, some of them are windowed, so the mouse would just keep flying out of bounds. So, actually, this exact same thing happened about 4 years ago. So before I got this computer, I had a laptop. And once again, I was letting my brother play on it. And he did pretty much the exact same thing, like deja vu. Accidentally dragged it over and the screen changed. Now I believe back then it was Windows 10, and now this is Windows 11. Well, back then, it was a super easy fix. All I had to do was go into settings, put it back to the recommended settings, and then it was all fixed. So I tried that again, and it did not work. It stayed the same. Yeah, I put it back on recommended. It did not fix the problem. So then I kind of started playing around with it, and I just ended up making it worse. Now the screen is smaller, and everything is shrinking. Now, I don't know if it was always there or if it just popped up when I started changing stuff, but I saw it too late. There was a message on the settings screen which basically said something to the effect of don't change these unless you know what you're doing. It can be very difficult to go back to the original settings. So I was like, oh, well, fuck me, I guess. So I'm fiddling around with this thing for like 2 hours. I'm looking up tutorials on Google. I'm watching YouTube videos. I'm trying to get it back to the original settings, and it is just not working. It's like an episode of Fairly Odd Parents after Timmy makes a bad wish and then tries to fix it. Like I'm just digging myself into a deeper hole. And by the end of it, like the cursor was the size of a speck. And like I tried to open like Insane Aquarium or something, and the whole thing was just like a small box. So at this point, I'm panicking a little bit because I can't fix it. I don't know what to do, and it's just getting very wonky. So then I Google how to get back to original settings, Windows 11, PC, or whatever. And it basically tells me to factory reset the whole thing. Now, thankfully, there is an option to keep your files when you reset. So I'm like, alright, that's good. So I go into the settings, I select reset but keep files, and I reset it. Well, I got some good news, and I got some bad news. Actually, mostly good news. So, good news is, it did fix the problem. Everything went back to normal. Now, unfortunately, some of the older games I play, like Zuma and Aquarium, Peggle, and all that, like most of my Steam games, that data got wiped. Now, here's the thing. That is honestly not that big of a deal because on my days off, I play through those games pretty much all the time. So, honestly, not really a big loss there. Now, thankfully, the newer stuff like Plants vs. Zombies, Baldi, Bloons, that all carried over just fine. There were no issues there. Now, I've noticed a bit of a trend on Steam. It seems like anything that was made before 2009, it's not going to carry over. Now, I looked into it, and I do have the cloud backup turned on, so it'll save the data. Now, I'm not a computer expert, but my working theory is like Bejeweled, that's one of the oldest games I play. Yeah, most of what I play is like really old desktop games. And that came out in 2000. So it's older than I am. So my working theory is that code is just so fragile that even with something like a cloud backup, when you transfer to a new device or reset, it kind of just implodes. But yeah, because most of PopCap's titles came out early to mid 2000s, but Plants vs. Zombies is kind of an outlier. That came way later in 2009. So by then, they had like stronger coding. So basically, like Baldi, Bloons, like I said, super easy. That's still there. And then I also have a lot of videos on this PC that I'm gonna upload in the future. All of those are still there and still intact, so we're all good there. However, Minecraft is not on Steam. Steam does not offer Minecraft. Minecraft is Microsoft/Xbox. Now, here's where I come in. Not one time in the entire, like, year I was playing Minecraft, did I back up my save file. I never did that. I thought as long as you had an account with Xbox or Microsoft or whatever, that you would be good, but apparently that's not the case. Now, thankfully, I didn't have to buy it again, because I logged into my account and I searched up Minecraft. It's like, oh, seems like you already own this. We'll go ahead and install it. And I opened the menu, and the world was gone. And I googled it. Apparently, it's pretty straightforward. You can do it in the game. There's an edit function, and it just makes a folder in your computer. So yeah, that's oof. Now, don't worry, I'm not mad at my brother. It was a pure unlucky accident. Yeah, when he was playing, I didn't explain to him how to like double click and all that. And then I panic reset instead of doing any research. So really, that's on Matt right there. So yeah, besides Minecraft, nothing really got lost, but rest in peace to the original garden. That shit got banished to the Shadow Realm. So, that brings us to this playthrough. Honestly, I think this is going to be really fun because I just looked at my channel and my very first Minecraft video was a little over a year ago. Quick, I cannot believe that. It does not feel like I've been playing this game for a year, but I'm looking at it right now. The numbers don't lie. Now, if you remember way back in the beginning, I had no clue what to do. I was like, all right, we gotta get dirt. We gotta build oh shit, creeper. Like, I was like a newborn that just got left in the woods. But now, a year later, now that I know what to do, I feel like it's gonna be a bit of a different experience. Alright, so I have the same goal as last time, which is to just get to the Nether. Yes, I know there's other stuff like the Ender Dragon, and like you do stuff in there, but we're gonna have the same goal, just build the portal and go to hell. Alright. So, if you use the timestamp, basically we're just gonna play the game again and try to get to the Nether again. Okay. So, step 1, we need wood and lots of it. We're just gonna get 64 blocks of wood just to be safe. So how are all of you guys doing today? You guys doing good? I hope so. Hope you guys are happy. Hope you guys are healthy. Hope everyone's having a great day today. And that there's good vibes all around. So my brother just turned 13. He is officially a teenager. So congratulations. Now, I don't know if there's multiple of them. We're just going to call this place Dave and Buster's 2.0. Now, we've done this a couple years, but for his birthday again, we went to Dave and Buster's 2.0. And there were a few shenanigans that happened. For one, obviously you have to rent a party room. And I think it was an hour and a half that we had the room. But your time starts as soon as you get there. And there was a problem in the kitchen. Like, hey, sorry, you know, kitchen's really backed up. It's gonna take a while for those chicken tenders. And my dad's kind of keeping all the kids in the room because we don't want to send them all out and then the food's ready and then they just have to come back. So we lost like a third of that whole rented time just waiting for some chicken. And then we ordered churros and like, hey, sorry, we're out of churros. But hey, other than that, we had a good time. I think I even did that for my birthday once. We went to the same place. It's basically Chuck E. Cheese, but it's way bigger and it's more... It's not as kid-oriented. There's no creepy rats. I remember, like, a long time ago, I was at somebody else's birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese. And when the guy in the suit came out, this kid just started crying. It was very, very awkward. Alright. There's too much foliage in Minecraft, like all these leaves. Like, you actually can't jump through it, and it blocks your vision. Oh. Alright, I'm gonna press E, just so this message comes off the screen. Yes, game, you may not know this because you're a game, but I have in fact been here before. Alright, we got 20 so far. Now, hopefully the Lorax doesn't come after me. Did you chop down this tree? Don't worry, I'll be sure to plant more later. Except I'm pretty sure you can't make a fneed in Minecraft. There's wool. You can kill sheep for wool. But other than that, I don't know if you can make it. It's really satisfying getting the whole trunk. I don't know why, but it's like watching dominoes fall. It really satisfies me. Also, I found out when you get rid of a whole tree, the leaves will disappear, so... Good thing that's in my noodle now. Alright, let me just look at something. Observe my surroundings. So I kind of wanted water because it really helps with growing sugarcane. Although I never really ended up using the sugarcane because I never really used any books, so... I don't know if I really need it. So, a couple weeks ago at Burrito Horn, I got frozen tomato juice in my eyeball. So at Burrito Horn, one of the tasks that you have to complete, like, when there's no customers, is towards the end of the night. There's the hot line and the cold line. Hot line is for hot food, cold line is for cold food. And sometimes ice will just build up in the cold line. Kind of like how you get freezer burn sometimes, like you find snow in your freezer. It's like that. But you'll just find this, like, mounds of buildup of ice. And because we have tomatoes in there, sometimes the tomato juice will leak, and you'll end up with these red icebergs. So what you gotta do, we call it a scraper, but it's like a flat edge, or... Not a putty knife, but it's like a flat edge. And you just scrape the crud out of this ice. And you just keep scraping till it's all gone. Because if that ice builds up too much, it can actually damage the equipment. So, somebody, I forget who, somebody's scraping the cold line. And I happen to be walking by. And I hear him really grunting and struggling, like, ugh, ugh. God damn it. And they're really... I guess the ice was really thick that day, so they're really struggling to get the ice off. And I hear, like, a sound. I look over, and there is a frozen tomato meteor just heading straight towards me. By the time I saw it, it was already too late. Got straight in my eyeball. And let me tell you, getting hit in the eyeball with stuff is not very fun. It's in fact very painful. So for the next 2 minutes, I just got this very bad stinging in my looking hole. I'm like, oh god, I've been hit. And then everyone was like, what, Matt, what's good, what happened? I got hit in the eyeball with tomato. See, I got sniped at work just for existing. I was at the wrong place at the wrong time, apparently. See, this is why I gotta be careful at work. You never know when you're gonna get blinded and pelted by frozen tomato juice. And also, like, that just happens sometimes when you're scraping really hard. Little chunks of ice will just fly out. So always use caution when you're walking by a scraping man. Alright, is it just me or is the game lagging a little bit? Okay, get that off the screen. Yes, thank you. Can you leave now? Is there a way to turn that off? Because it's rather annoying. Alright, I'm almost at 64. Let me just... Alright, one more block. Alright, we officially have... Alright, I want to find, like, a clearing. Ooh. This will do very nicely. Alright, so basically what I'm going to do here is for the next few minutes, I'm just going to clear out this whole area. Because I just want to, like, flat. Flat as can be. Flat as some people think the Earth is. Alright, yeah, so once I clear this out, I will make a crafting table and get rid of that message that's on the screen. I don't know why, but this dirt looks tasty. I want to eat the dirt. Like, the way they animated it, it looks like cake. Like chocolate frosting pudding cake. Sorry, guys. I had a really bad itch on my shoulder. I had to scratch that. Oh, yeah. Alright, we're good. Itch is scratched. We can continue. Wait, hold up. Oh, dear Lord. The sun is setting. Well, since we got no house, we gotta revert back to the old tricks. And that is, you dig down. Oh, how we've been set back so far. Reduced to a hole in the ground. Well, at least we won't die. Alright, now I believe nighttime lasts for about 7 minutes. We'll camp out this one time. But in the future, until we get a bed, I'll just edit out when I'm hiding, because... Hey, look at all this dark dirt. Look at all this around me. So, what do we talk about now? There's nothing to see. I mean, we could talk about my hairy ass. I don't think anybody wants to hear about that. Now, this is probably a stupid idea. Should we take a peek outside? You know what? Just for fun, let's take a peek. I mean, we can always dig back down. Are there any creatures over here? Creepy, crawly creatures of the dark? There's a mountain. No, it seems like a pretty safe spot, actually. Ooh, full moon tonight. Ow! There's one. Oh, God. You know what? That is exactly what I get for being curious. That is exactly what I get. Alright, I guess we're gonna stay down here. So, one of my coworkers, Kevin McAllister, he was supposed to get fired, but somehow he didn't. Now, I don't know why it works like this. I think it's pretty dumb. But our GM, Mr. Cheez-It, he himself actually doesn't have the power to fire anybody. So how it works is if you get too many write-ups, or like if you have multiple warnings and you don't fix your behavior, he will submit a request for termination, and it either goes to his boss or the next guy above. I'm not really sure. But one of them has to actually sign off on it, and then it will go into effect. Well, I guess they didn't sign off on it because good old Kevin is still there. So this actually, as of recording this video, this happened yesterday. So I got called in early to work, so I show up to Burrito Horn, and Mr. Cheez-It, he's like, "Oh, Matt, thank God you're here. This kid's struggling for his life. You gotta go help him." And I think he's maybe 16 years old, but I'm not entirely sure. So the second that I walk in the door, Kevin sees me. He takes off his headset and he immediately hands it to me. Like, he's like, "Oh, I gotta do no more work now." And Mr. Cheez-It kind of snaps on him. He's like, "Dude, he just walked in the door. Let him put his stuff down." But that was kind of messed up, though. Like, I wasn't even in the building for 10 seconds. And this kid's already, like, giving me the headset. So eventually we get settled in. And we got a big-time rush going on. There's a lot of cars in the drive-thru. So me and Kevin were doing orders. And I'm trying to help him out. I'm telling him, "Okay, so this drink is for this car, and then these 2 drinks are for the next car." So I'm organizing everything nice and neat, and then just helping him out, telling him, like, which is for what. And on almost 3 separate occasions, he nearly hands out the wrong drink or the wrong food. So I gotta stop him. Now, this kid has been here for a while. He's been here for a few months. And I think his biggest problem is he just doesn't really care all that much. Like, sometimes it feels like he's trying, but most of the time it does not feel like he's trying. So one of our other coworkers has worked with him a lot, and she's kind of taken him under her wing. You know, she was showing him how to make drinks, how to take orders. And it seems like it just goes in one ear and out the other. Like, it doesn't really stick. So, 3 months later, he's learned absolutely nothing. And I've also tried to show him some stuff, but like I said, it just doesn't really stick. So I'll do something with him a few times, I'll explain it. And I say, "Oh, you know, do you understand how to do it?" And he goes, yeah, I understand." And then 2 minutes later, "Hey, Matt, how do I do this?" So anyway, we're in the middle of this big lunch rush. Well, actually, no, it's dinner rush, because it's 6 o'clock. We're in the middle of this big dinner rush, and someone paid with cash, and he's taking coins out of the register, and he looks at me, and he says, with 100% seriousness in his voice, "Hey, Matt, this is a quarter. This is 25 cents, right?" And I'm thinking, this dude's trolling right now. There's no way. And I'm like, "Yeah, it's a quarter. It's 25 cents. And I'm looking over, and he does not have the correct change whatsoever. He's like $1 short, and he's got all the wrong coins out. Now, the register itself, it tells you how much change to give, so you don't have to do any math in your head. And multiple times I'm like, no, it's 2 quarters, a nickel, and a dime. So, like I said, I thought this kid was just mad trolling. But no, at 16 years old, he does not know how much a quarter is. He doesn't know how much a dime is. Like, he doesn't know that a quarter is 25 cents or a dime is 10 cents. I was floored. Absolutely flabbergasted. I was at a loss for words. Either the U.S. education system failed him miserably, or he did not pay attention in school whatsoever. So I'm like, alright, this kid is a lost cause. Like, he should have been eaten by some wolves ages ago. So at this point, I'm just kind of doing everything. Basically, I gave Kevin an unplugged controller, and I'm like, here you go, go make us proud. So I'm having to do my job and his job in the midst of all this chaos. And the entire time he was complaining, he sounded like an NPC that was going through the same 3 dialogue options. He's like, oh man, my feet hurt. Well, I'm hungry. Man, it's busy. Oh man, my feet hurt. I'm hungry. It's real busy. And then at the end of his shift, we counted his drawers, and he got all impatient. He's like, I want to go home, I'm like, no, you gotta wait for them to count the money in the register. Because when your shift's over, you get signed out of the register, and then they count the money to, like, make sure it's not, like, over or short. He's like, I want to go home, Like, dude, relax. So yeah, that was a nightmare. It's daytime! Yay! Okay. So, do not be like George. Do not be curious. Ever. Alright. So, back to what I was doing. We're going to flatten this whole plane here. Now, some people actually put the mines in their houses when they get to that step of Minecraft. But I actually disagree with that. Because what if creatures from the mine make it into your house? Well, I suppose you could block it with a door, or even multiple doors. But I'm going to do what I did last time and just have the mine near my house, but not in my house. It just seems like a little bit of a better idea, because a creeper could blow up, something could always go wrong when the danger's in your walls. Alright, so after I get rid of this little grass island here, we'll be all set. I've been working on the grass way, oh, the livelong day. You know, who wants to work a livelong day anyway? Who wants that? Who actually wants to go to work? You know, they do say dream job, and, you know, people have passions and stuff. Does anybody actually dream about going to work? Well, actually, I can answer that. The answer is yes. Because there was one time, Big J had a very lucid dream, he was telling us. Or either he told us or somebody else told us. But Big J was asleep, and his wife was also asleep in the bed. And he starts talking in his sleep. He's like grabbing the pillow, and he thinks it's the register at work. And he starts, like, touching it, like he's pushing buttons. And he goes, number 9, Mexican pizza, number 6, chalupa. And, like, he started taking orders in his sleep. So, I guess the answer is yes, people do dream about work. And then this newer manager we have also has dreams about work. He said, like, every time he dreams about work, the store is always empty. And, like, the layout's different. Like, the location of the restaurant would be different every time. It could be in the desert. It could be on a mountain. Like, the location was always different. Alright, this grass excavation is taking longer than expected. It's not going to be... Ooh. Let's put up a little guardrail. I am not trying to fall off that. Yeah, I did not mean to dig that away. I think I dug a little too much. There we go. Nice little thing to keep me from falling off. Alright, almost done. I'm making like a spiral. Or like a snail shell. Alright, come on. We can do it. Why are there weeds? How dare there be weeds in nature? I'm gonna terraform this whole place into my own dwelling. I'm gonna be rich. We're gonna go to other dimensions and fight pigs. Whoa, whoa! That was close. Oh, that was close. Holy shnikes. Okay, how did I get right above a mine? I put it in the thing, dude. Okay. You know what? Fill that back in. Alright. I wonder if I should make my house a little bigger than I did last time, because it was a little cramped last time. Alright, let me just walk around a little bit, see how it feels. Alright, well let's get the crafting table going. This will be the heart and center of the house. Alright, so if I remember correctly, it's just 4 pieces of wood. It is not. Or maybe. Alright, separate this. It's 4 baby woods. Aha! And... skadoosh. We did it. A crafting table. Alright, look very closely at the crafting table. Not on the top of it, but on the front of it. That is very clearly a frowny face. So there's the eyeball. That's the other eyeball. You got a little frowny face. Look out, world! I made a crafting table! I can craft! So, we're 50% of the way done. We can craft, and now we just have to mine. And you know what? I think that's gonna do it for today. Next time, we will do more stuff. I just had to get the ball rolling. So, as always, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. And everybody, just do me a little favor. Have yourselves a great day.